Hey, I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, a 3-day weekend for most of you guys. I had a good weekend. I spent time in Myrtle Beach with my friends, so we had a really, really, really good time. But let me go ahead and get into my video. I was actually going to talk about Toxic Part 2, but just decided to kind of share with you guys more about what's going on with me and relating it to the first video when we talked about just doing things like God has you do, the visions and ideas. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys background about what's going on with me and how I relate to that thing, that the idea, the vision, the dream. Now, let me first say this, you guys. I have been looking to be found, not searching, looking to be found by my husband probably since I was 19. That's a long time. I'm almost 30. I'll be 27. That's a long time to be looking to be found by someone who you don't even know. You don't even know where they are. And I am currently still looking to be found by the man that God has for me. Now, in saying that, I have to also tell you that God has taken me through so many things as far as dating and relationships go. And I never really understood why, especially being the church girl, why it took so long. God, why have you caused me to go through so many things? And the way we believe in our church is you need to be married to have sex. You can't shack up. You can't do this. You can't do that. When it comes to relationships, I'm like, Lord, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. I'm just going to say that I have continually wondered where he is. And furthermore, I always thought, maybe I don't have my husband because I'm not always doing the right thing, or I have to be perfect to get my husband. And let me tell you guys, I don't think being perfect has anything to do with whether or not you get your bow or you don't get your bow. I think it goes down to what God has us go through to build us or to make us. And like I told you before, I'm going to stand by. I believe that the things that we go through are not just for us. It's not just for our benefit. It's not just something that will change us, but it's going to change someone else too. And that's part of the enlightenment or the idea that God gave me. Um, the things that I go through, the words that I say are going to impact somebody else, and hopefully they will help someone else or encourage someone else. Just the things that He's taken me through. And just like I told you before, probably in the first video, the past 6 months for me have been crazy amazing. God has been opening doors for me. He has been shutting doors for me. People that I thought were supposed to be in my life, and I prayed and hoped that they were supposed to be in my life, are not in my life anymore. Um, and let me just go into that. As I'm saying, I have been looking for this individual since I was 19 years old. And um, one of the big things for me is being able to say that for the most part, and waiting for this man to come into my life, I have been able to be happy and be Dion and um, do what is expected of me. But at the same time, there are days when I do get wrapped up in what I don't have and what I want. And I think it's important for me to say to the women out there or the men out there who are single, don't get wrapped up in what you don't have, especially when it's something like that, something as, I'm not going to say as small as a man or a woman, but uh, I think it's important that we don't get wrapped up in that. And I have to remind myself that now, not to go into too much detail, I'm going to be very vague, but the last relationship I was in, I I was really into this person and things were going really well. And the funny thing about it is, my family, before me and this person stopped really talking, my family, we went on a fast. and it was just a week fast, and it was basically for different things each of us were seeking God for in our life, and it mainly was for me, it was, direction and where God is going to take me, in the area of, my what God has me to do in my work life, my personal life, and also in the relationships in my life. And throughout this fast, I was just kind of like, Lord, this is the answer that I want. I was very specific. This is what I want to happen. This is why I'm, making myself starve. This is why I'm cutting this off. I'm not listening to secular music. I'm not doing this. I did all these things so that God could give me the answer that I was looking for. So by the end of this fast, and like I told you, it was just a week fast. God had completely, yet again, flipped things in my life. And like I said, the people that I thought were supposed to be in my life were not in my life anymore. The people who are supposed to be in my life, I believe God is going to bring them into my life. And it, again, just going back to the point where um, God is going to, I don't know if you guys have all played the game where you connect the dots. And to me, that's what my life has been. My life, when I sit down and I think about things that I've gone through, and I say, why did I go through this? Or why did this happen? Or why is this significant? And I just think of the connecting the dots. Had I not met this man, maybe things wouldn't be the way they are right now. Maybe I wouldn't have gained some type of enlightenment from that experience that I needed to get to the end result. So, when we meet people and dating, you guys, dating can be rough. I know I'm actually doing some writing about online dating, and have been kind of consulting one of my best friends because she's going through the online dating thing. But just dating, period, whether it's in person, whether you meet somebody on the street, whether you meet somebody online, whether he drops down from the sky, dating can be very, very, very tricky. And like I said, for me, I always wondered, why is this person in my life? I always had in the back of my mind, I always had that, is this the one? For basically every guy that I dated, you guys, I always thought in the back of my mind, is this the one? Because I've been looking since I was 19. So I always had that, you know, could he be the one in the back of my mind? And as I get closer to the husband, because I believe, you guys, it's not going to be long that I'm saying I'm engaged. But as I get closer to that point in my life, I look back and I say, God took me through all these different experiences, because at the end of it, y'all, the words I speak are going to inspire millions of women and some men too, I believe. God has really taken me through a lot, in my years of being alive. And again, I've always wondered why this happened or why that happened, or um, and all I can really say to you is, what comes to mind is just the connecting of the dots, the people that God allows in our life, whether it be for a very long time or a short time. There is a reason why that person is in your life, and I'm actually really beginning to see that as I sit down, especially my last relationship I was in, as I sit down and look at the things that transpired, I know that God placed that person in my life for a reason. And, maybe it wasn't a long time. Maybe I thought that person may end up being someone that I could connect with, and that wasn't the case at all. They were just there for that time. They were basically just a tool in God's toolbox. And when their time was up, their time was up. And I thank God for that. I thank God for the places that He's bringing me to and the things that He's showing me in my life. Even when it comes to dating, and like I said, dating, it could be it's up and down. Um, Even as I was in Myrtle Beach, I had a conversation with a guy down there about marriage and living with his girlfriend, and it's funny to see how we all think differently. And um, it just amazes me. It amazes me the things that we go through for someone else. The very thing that God created us for, to be with somebody else, and we go through all kinds of stuff, trying to pinpoint the one, or the perfect woman, or the perfect man. Um, but I believe that God knows what's best, and I think if we have in our mind, um, if you say, and I've been saying this too, maybe the past couple years, if you say that you want God's will for your life, expect God's will for your life. And that may mean going through some things that you don't want to go through. It may mean doing some things you don't want to do. So don't even let that come out of your mouth if you really don't want God's will for your life, because that's going to mean something different to Him than it means to you. Um, and I believe that when I said that I want God's will for my life, I meant it. And He's taking me through some things, and He's putting some people in my path, and He's taking some people out of my path. And I think at the end of it, I'm going to be the happiest D I can be. So, that's what I have for you guys this week. Just wanted to rant and rave a little bit. Um, but be sure to check out the videos if you haven't already seen them. And thank you for watching the videos. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And I'll talk to you soon. All right.